This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jet airliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Well, come along and welcome aboard the Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Coy O'Leary here on this Tuesday, December 24th. Happy Christmas Eve, I guess. Merry Christmas, the whole deal. Welcome aboard. Jake's at the wheel, he's at the sleigh, keeping the sleigh in line today. Todd Leary, of course, with me as well. I'm Jim Coyle. Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Christmas Eve. It's hard to believe I'm saying that. It's incredible that this is Christmas Eve. It just doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't even make any sense. It really doesn't. I mean, we've talked all year about how fast the year has gone by, but now it's just really gone. We can start talking about how slow the new year is going to be.
Plenty to talk about. We're going to hear from Yogi Ferrell, a recent visit he made to Indianapolis with the NBA team coming through town. Archie Miller, Tom Allen, Peyton Ramsey. We got lots of people to hear from. Pacers defeat the OG and the Raptors in overtime last night. Ball State's the only game on today. Packers beat the Vikings last night. Not a lot going on, man, as things slow down. But there will be, I think there's one football game today. BYU is a 1.5-point favorite over Hawaii. Did you see Alan Henderson's post by chance?
I did not.
On Facebook. I don't know if I still have the actual post pulled up. I'll look through here, but he basically said, what's the deal with the search committee for the athletics director for Indiana University? He did not like the fact that of all the people that were on there was no one that representative of Indiana basketball, which I guess I see the point, since Indiana basketball is the biggest revenue generator at IU, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter if there's someone on there or not. I don't know. I don't think that it really matters, because to me, the candidates are the candidates. You can't – Pat Kraft is got to be to me, one of the leading candidates. Chris Reynolds has to be one of the leading candidates. Scott Dolson has to be one of the leading candidates. Now, if you want to expand it beyond that, and of course I know they want to look at whomever could possibly be the best choice, I don't know that having Archie Miller on or Quinn Buckner, who's on the board of trustees, I don't know that it matters. I think that the candidates are already there, and it doesn't matter to me. But it's a point that he made, and I see it, and I understand it, but I just don't think that it really matters personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I would like to hear the argument as to why it would matter, why someone would think it would matter. I mean, if there was a basketball person on there and there was no football person, I don't think I would be sitting back saying, why is there no football candidate?
And there's not one from football either.
I mean, the selection committee, I mean, as long as they do their due diligence and they pick someone that, my guess, and I have absolutely no idea, but my guess would be that Alan thinks that Chris Reynolds might have a better chance of getting it if there was a basketball person on there. Maybe. I really don't know.
That's the only point I can see that comes from that, because I think that Chris Reynolds or anybody else that's in his situation is going to get a good look anyway. They're not going to not look at Chris Reynolds.
Sure,
he's an obvious candidate. So I don't know that having a basketball person on there would give him a better chance or not. It's the only thing that I can think of, like you said, but
right.
I just don't see it mattering much. And Yeah, I don't think.
As long as what you just said is true. I mean, as long as Pat Kraft and Chris Reynolds and Dolson and those guys are all interviewed and they go through the full due diligence, unlike some of the last
Hires,
some of the coaching hires that have taken place, and when it's just been, kind of this is who it's going to be.
Here's our guy. We're going to go get him.
Yeah. Here's the introduction. We're not going to tell you how we came up with it. It's just who it is. Indiana is.
Any idea what coach was hired in that situation?
I can rattle off one that I know of. But I mean, Indiana is insanely secretive about so many different things that I don't really understand. I mean, the injuries, they're just crazy secretive. And I understand there's no point to give too much information, but there's also, I have yet to see the point of why they're so secretive about so many things. And
it's happened this year that has cracked me up more than anything. And I talked about it when it happened. Back, it's been a month or so. When Tua Tagovailoa got hurt the first time, he hurt like a high ankle sprain or something.
Right.
He went down in the game. They got Nick Saban out afterwards. And Tua's good. He's probably going to be out too. He's got a high. He's giving the whole report after the game on the field. Then just laid it out, and then like you say, you look at Indiana, it's like, oh no, we nothing. He has an injury,
day-to-day one thing, and
located somewhere between his waist and his pinky toe. It's crazy, and then here you have the top football coach of the last quarter century just out there laying it out on the field because it doesn't matter. And I know sometimes there's things you have to be delicate about. I mean, they were delicate about the Jerome Hunter issue because of HIPAA laws, and there was a lot more going on with his. It really wasn't an injury; he was a condition.
Right.
There's some understanding, but even within, I just sometimes it's game dip. Okay, sometimes I get that, but it's the same thing every time.
Yeah, it's been gamesmanship for 20 years then, or 40 years. It just doesn't teams are going to prepare for whether that player is going to play or not going to play, unless a leg falls off or something. They're going to prepare for it either way, so it's not like you're really gaining a whole lot of gamesmanship when it comes to that. Indiana's just always been crazy about not releasing any information.
Oh, really much of anything. I mean, from a media standpoint, a lot of other schools, when we travel or go, locker rooms are open like normal. You go in and you can interview players, and so the difference is in Indiana, that's not the case. Locker rooms never open unless it's mandated by a tournament.
I swear to you that this is just my opinion, but all of this is because of Coach Knight. Like Coach Knight, whatever he determined it was going to be years ago, I don't think anyone's ever balked the system since then.
And I think you are absolutely correct.
It's just funny how that's the case. Like no one's come along and, I mean, you want to put your stamp on, on the media department or on, the athletic department or whatever it is, do something a little different. But right now they do the exact same stuff they did when Coach Knight was there.
And it makes it easier for them, but it makes it tons harder for us, especially getting quotes from players and whatnot. They put, two players up on the podium now after the game, and you're forced to only ask a question when you get the opportunity. So now you're limited. And I'll be quite honest with you. Those players up on the podium, they're terrible usually. They're awful. You get them in the in the locker room when you're just sitting there talking to them, they're fine. They're relaxed, and it's a much more relaxing situation for them. I'll take you back to the Indiana basketball media days. They brought in sets of 3 players after 3 players and put them up there. They were as bad as they've ever been. Awful, terrible, answering questions, talking real low, giving real short answers. And I know that they're not professional in that regard. But I think that, for one thing, I think the school should work with them a little bit because it's a great opportunity for them, the public speaking aspect and whatnot. But from a media standpoint, it's not very good.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I'll just be honest with you about it. From a player's perspective, there is nothing positive that can come out of an interview. Like, the only thing that can come out of an interview is you getting in trouble and saying something that gets thrown back in your face at some point in time down the road when you make mistakes or or have turnovers or lose games or whatever it may be. Now, I'm basing that on my own personal past history. I don't know that the current coaching staff does that or not, but I can assure you, you never wanted to be the person selected to go to the post-game press conference because all you could do was say something that could potentially get you in trouble. It's fact. I mean, it's just factual.
I believe that then. I don't think that's the case now. I don't know that they pay attention, but I guess they probably still. Well, you got JD in there, so he's there to he keeps them in line and keeps things rolling. But it's just different here. It's in Indiana. It's a different situation in a lot of different ways, and that's just how it has been and how it will continue to be. And that not only is basketball though, Todd, that permeates to football. I mean, they take that right on down the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a coaching philosophy type of thing. And to be honest with you, I think that the people that are there now at IU in the basketball program, I think they probably learned it from the people that were there before them. And it all kind of filters back to the way Coach Knight did it. And I don't think football is a whole lot different. I think Coach Mallory was kind of following the same thing Coach Knight started and did. And I think it's kind of trickled on and kind of stayed the same as well.
I think the football locker room used to be open.
Truly, though, if you analyze it, though, what's a player possibly going to say? All we're looking for in the media is for him to say something out of the normal, or out of what we. It's like you predict what Archie's going to say all the time when he starts his press conference out.
Yeah.
I mean, you could pretty much predict. If I could imitate their voices, you could ask me the questions, and I could pretty much tell you what they're going to say
every game.
It's that way. The players are the same way. Like nobody wants to say something that they have a potential of regretting later on. Yeah, you and I, we don't care.
Exactly. I do that every day. I say stuff I regret every day. What are you talking about?
So do I. It's one of my best qualities.
Yeah, I'm not sure if people think that we actually argue on here, but that's half of it's for fun. And the other half's just whatever.
I get a kick out of proving you wrong every single day.
Well,
it's fun.
Yeah, I don't think that happens very often, only in your mind, but that's all good things. It's Christmas, so I'll let it go. I'll let you have that present today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, lots going on. Like I said, we got a lot to hear from. The Pacers knocked off OG and the Raptors in overtime last night, 120-115. There was an issue with Lowry from the Raptors. He thought he got fouled or something, and his momentum kind of carried him forward past the goal. And, where those fans sit right there. Well, a fan said something, and he immediately starts pointing at him, and he was trying to get this guy kicked out. And so there was a quick investigation, and an NBA official came over and got the guy, takes him off to the tunnel, and says, all right, so what do you say? And a lot of people talked to him. It was pretty much proven. The guy said, stop whining, Lowry. That's all he said. That was all that was said. And because Lowry was asked about it afterwards, he's like, oh, it's no big deal. No big deal. And, of course, it was no big deal because he didn't say anything, but he was trying to get this guy kicked out. Didn't happen, and they lose. So good for them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it got shot 21 times in the game, so he shouldn't have been complaining about anything.
He had 30 points, 39.
30? Yeah.
Aaron Holiday, 19 and 10, hit 2 threes in overtime to help the Pacers. Turner and Warren, 24 points each.
OG with 15 and 12. Nice big double.
Getting up, big 12 rebounds.
Jiminy Christmas.
That's man, that guy has found a niche, because I promise you, even today, much less 6 years ago, you do not look at that dude and think NBA player. And he has done it, and this guy starts on an NBA team. So
he sure does. And he's done it the hard way, too. He didn't come out of, he didn't get drafted and immediately get playing time because of his draft spot.
My favorite story is how
his way on.
Is Tom Crean. Do you know how Tom Crean found him?
Yeah, he was looking at Juwan
Morgan.
Yeah.
He had to ask the people wherever they were at this high school workout that was going on, whatever it was. I think they may have been in Missouri where they're from. I'm not sure.
I think they were. I think it was an AAU tournament in Kansas City.
Yeah, and Tom Crean had to ask, who's that guy? He was not on. They give you a book of players when you get there that's got all the players, little bios and all that stuff. He wasn't even in it. Right. He had to ask, who's this guy?
Just tells you he was added to that team after the book was put out.
But another thing,
which is an AAU trait.
You got to give Tom Crean credit. The one thing that he could do well and did do well was find guys that were not necessarily on the radar. I mean, Victor Oladipo was a 3-star. Juwan Morgan, obviously OG Anunoby. He found some guys that were diamonds in the rough, and they were able to boss them. But that's I gotta give him credit for that. He seemed that he did that more than once. So
I completely agree with you. I mean, I don't think you would find too many people that would argue the fact of Tom Crean as one of the better recruiters and studies of talent. And I like the talent that those guys that he brought in and to play were players that were fun to watch.
If he could have made them play defense, they may have been an unbelievable
team. The knock on Crean's always been he needed both an offensive and a defensive coordinator. If he'd have had both of those and gone ahead and hired those, he may have stuck around and he may be onto something. But he likes to be hyper involved in everything. So I doubt he's going to allow that kind of freedom.
And the funny thing is, he's a guy that needs that. He needs to have Phil Martelli. He needs a Phil Martelli on this with him. He doesn't think he does. That's the problem. But if he did, when he was at Indiana, he'd still be in Indiana probably if he did that. He'd still be here because the guy could recruit until he lost the state of Indiana. He pissed the Indiana high school coaches off and was no longer able to recruit Indiana after a while. And that hurt him seriously. That went a long way in costing him his job, in addition to not getting past the Sweet 16.
In addition to losing a lot.
In addition to not getting past the Sweet 16. Hey, happy birthday to Lance Stemler. Today's Lance's birthday. He's a friend of the show and a former Indiana Hoosier. So happy birthday to you, Lance. We appreciate that.
That's is that a good birthday or a bad birthday? I mean,
he's 35. He's 35.
You probably get hosed on presents when you're a kid.
That's just like my birthday is in February, 2 days before Valentine's Day, which has no bearing now. But back when you were dating somebody or married or whatever, here's your birthday and Valentine's gift. You get that combo gift. It's like he's going to get the birthday. Here's your birthday and Christmas present. He gets the combo gift.
Well, hang on a minute. You got a Valentine's gift as the man?
That's back when you were younger, of course. Any excuse to give presents. Anyway, the point being is you get two holidays together, and you get the combo gift.
Yeah, well,
never fun.
My birthday's on Thanksgiving a lot, which there's no gifts in Thanksgiving.
So you're
thankfully.
Lucky.
So I am lucky because all the family gets together, so they almost have to give me a gift.
Or they say, "Hey, we're thankful that it's your birthday."
It was perfect. I was always thankful. My birthday was right around Christmas, right around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we can always just be thankful that it's your birthday.
Yep, true.
Hey, we got plenty more coming up, man. We're going to hear from Yogi Ferrell, Archie Miller, Peyton Ramsey, Tom Allen. We got a lot to get to. You're listening to Coyle and Larry here on Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on Christmas Eve. We'll be back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
This segment is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to a Christmas Eve edition of Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary. Coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. No white Christmas. I thought we were going to have one, man, until it melted away.
No go. 67 degrees yesterday took care of that.
Man, that's unbelievable.
It was so nice yesterday.
Why can't it just stay like that?
Oh, man. I hear all this crap about global warming, and then it was 11 degrees like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I know. Somebody will tell me how stupid I am for making that statement, but still. Whenever it's warm like this, everybody will use the excuse. So when it's cold, I'm going to rebut them.
Well, speaking of warm, we're going to warm it up. Yogi Ferrell was in town recently as the Sacramento Kings visited the Indiana Pacers. Our friend Aaron Schifrin had a chance to talk to him. Let's hear what Mr. Yogi had to say.
I think a lot of us were ranked pretty high early in our careers growing up. That just shows what the state of Indiana does. We produce basketball players. We take it very seriously here. So it's just great to be a part of that group. I mean, it was a little different not being like the bigger schools playing against the other top schools in the country, you know, like North Central, Lawrence North, Carmel. But I feel like we made a name for ourselves. We actually played against a couple big schools at my time at Park Tudor. But it was great, though. I love Park Tudor. Made a lot of friends. Loved the teachers there. So although we were a small school, I still loved it. I mean, it's all about, you know, the feel of it and the situation. You know, although those guys didn't continue their careers there, they still had great careers elsewhere. And, you know, the reason why I feel like I was so successful was just because of my teammates. The guys that I was playing with really helped me. I got the IU career for assists because of my teammates. You know, they knocked down the shots. So I had a great time there.
And then what was your favorite moment? Obviously 2013, your freshman year and your senior year were both Big Ten titles.
Right.
Were very successful. Can you talk about what your favorite moment was in both those seasons and just in general how your role was different, you know, between being obviously the freshman point guard and the senior point guard?
I say probably my favorite moment was my freshman year when we played North Carolina at Assembly Hall. I just remember that was the loudest game I had ever played in. The fans were great, and we were actually killing North Carolina. So that was a really, really fun game. And as far as my role, it changed a little bit my freshman year. Didn't obviously have to score as much because we had Victor, Cody, Jordy, Christian, guys like that were able to do it. So I was just more of, pick and choose, get my points here and there. And then, my senior year, I pretty much just took over as the guy that needed to score, play defense, and just be that all-around leader.
There's Yogi Ferrell, Sacramento King, former Hoosier, talking about the life and times of the Kevin Yogi Ferrell.
I've made this statement several times, and I would back it up again still, in that 12 games into his sophomore season, Rob Finney is having a better career than Yogi Ferrell had in his first year and 12 games. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, he really took off. Well, he really took off when he worked on his shot a lot and got
exactly. But I really think that was the last 2 years. I mean,
yeah, no, you're right. I agree. No, you're right.
First couple of years, he was not. He just said in the clip right there that his first year he didn't really have to score as much. Well, he really couldn't score all that well, and I'm not ripping him. The guy,
no, you're right. He was just learning his way.
He worked so hard on his game and on his jump shot specifically that I think both. And I'm using two players who are in the NBA right now, so it looks like I'm just jumping on the bandwagon. But I really think that if you took two guys who improved their jump shot the most during their time in Indiana, I think Victor Oladipo and Yogi Ferrell would have to be the two guys that you
undoubtedly, without question.
It was amazing. It's amazing the improvement they made, and it's probably indicative of exactly where they are right now in their career.
It's exactly they made themselves NBA players.
Sure.
I mean, Victor made himself an all-star.
Right.
He has great athletic talent to go with it. Don't get me wrong, but he did not shoot like that when he came to Indiana, but he did when he left. And his athletic talent go along with that, and his just exuberance and all that. But his work ethic, both of them, like you point out, you got to have work ethic. And that brings up a point that Don Fisher made on the show last season. And I don't know if it still goes for this team, but he made the comment that there were no gym rats on that team. That they know when the players are over there and how long they're there because they swipe their cards getting in and out. He goes, there just weren't any gym rats, guys that had just going in and knocking shots down and really, really working like some kids do, like Oladipo did, like Yogi did. And I think that affects the team greatly when you don't have somebody like that.
Yeah, something that's a serious risk, and that is Yogi Ferrell's dad held him out of AAU basketball. And I want to say it was either his 8th grade year or his freshman year. And I'll tell you, that's I give the rankings of players and all that stuff a hard time, the people that rank them. And I think the validity of the rankings really suffers when you look at the people who are doing the rankings. But as a part of that, it is important as to how you're recruited. I mean, it does factor into it. And for his dad to have the confidence and have them work on his game rather than play in AAU all summer long, it was a risk, but boy, I tell you, it was a risk that certainly paid off. And I don't know that very many dads would have the guts to do that.
If somebody did that today, how much crap would they get?
I don't know of any. I can't tell you any other players, barring an injury. I can't tell you anyone else that's had the guts to do that with their kid.
How much crap would a guy get if he did that to his kid now?
I can't even guess. I can't even tell you. We don't have anything to base it off of. That's for sure.
Because nobody does it. But
I know. I mean, you're taking away. I mean, it's almost like taking away because I'm the first person that tells you, like, high school basketball does not have any relevance in how a kid is recruited. Like, it's a non-factor. And so AAU is really your only opportunity to get out in front of coaches and get your name out there. And they held him out. The year between your 8th grade year and your freshman year and your freshman year and your sophomore year, that's really where you get ranked. That's how you get ranked. Very few players go from unranked to being ranked in the top 100 or 150 even if they're not ranked in those first couple of years. And it's very hard to do. And his dad knew what they were doing. They knew what they wanted to work on and what he needed to improve on, and they did it. And it certainly paid off for them.
Dayton beat Grambling 81-53, I think, yesterday in one of the only games. There weren't too many games yesterday.
Yeah, there were several.
Were there several? Were there?
Yeah.
I don't know why I wrote that one down by itself, but
Ball State got beat last night.
Was that last night that Ball State played?
It was just super late. It looks like it was today, but it was just real.
Was that the 1:30 a.m. game?
Yes.
Okay, I was trying to figure that out. I was looking at that going, wait a minute, what? Texas is 2 hours away. Why are they playing at 1:30 in the morning?
No, I thought they're in Hawaii. They're in Hawaii.
Okay, I thought that was today scheduled. I'm like, what are they waiting for Christmas for Christmas mass to get over?
Yeah, no, they're playing in that Diamond Head Classic in Big Island in Hawaii. So,
speaking of Hawaii, I think that's the only football game today is BYU against Hawaii.
It is. There are no sports today outside of that game, I don't believe.
And which is kind of funny because then you got them on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Isn't Christmas Day? Aren't the only games NBA games? I don't think there's any college basketball. I don't think there's any football.
I think that you are correct.
Huh. Well, that's a crap schedule because I'm not a big NBA fan, to be honest with you.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I see Portland and Ball State.
4 basketball games. Yeah,
Ball State and UTEP. It's a tournament that's going on.
That Diamond Head Classic has its final day on Christmas.
Yeah, and then Houston and Washington.
That's the championship game.
The AP Top 25 is out, and as suspected, Gonzaga goes to the number 1 spot, although Ohio State, to me, is the best team in the country. But maybe it's a blessing in disguise because every team that's gone to number 1 has promptly been beaten. But that won't happen to Gonzaga. There is not a ranked team on the remainder of their schedule for the rest of the season. Playing out in the West Coast Conference. They play in that vanilla conference, so they should go through unscathed. Not saying that they will, but and it doesn't matter because it's not going to affect anything. It's just they're going to get to be number 1 for God knows how many weeks, which is kind of not realistic, I don't think. I don't think there is a number 1 team. There's just not this year. Gonzaga or anybody else, or Ohio State. Ohio State's not a number 1 team. I think there's just so much parity up there that it doesn't matter. You can just stick them in a shaker and blend them up because that's exactly what's happened. You stick somebody at number 1, they got beat for like 5 straight weeks. It's just it's a great, crazy season, but it's a lot of fun.
But the funny part is, and we talked about this before, we actually, I'm going to say we talked about it, but we kind of argued about it in the fact of saying there doesn't need to be a poll that comes out until January the 1st. And, my point at that time when we said that, I can't remember which coach it was. Oh, it was the North Carolina State coach was the one who was making such a big deal about there not needing to be any polls that come out before January 1st. And I said at that point, I really think what will happen is, if you started a poll on that January 1st date, it's probably going to be real similar to what the poll is going to shake out based on wins and losses when you get to that point. And I think that's exactly what's happened. I mean, I think if you had to say it right now and we didn't have any polls, but right now we were starting day 1, I think you'd put Gonzaga and Ohio State right there at the top. And I think all those teams that are right up there would be real. I mean, you may have Auburn ranked higher because they're undefeated. I mean, they're 9th right now or 8th right now. But.
But see, that shows if Indiana fans want to complain about not being ranked, they need to look at Auburn. There's a reason that they're putting Auburn 8th, even though they're undefeated, the only undefeated team there other than San Diego State. But there's a reason that they're 8th and not 1st. And there's the same reason that Indiana's not in the top 25 right now. But, you're right. I agree.
You saying the eye test is
yeah. Who they play and things like that. But, yeah, you're exactly – I agree with you 100% that it's shaking out right now at this moment. Any of those teams in the top 6, 7 maybe, you can just, all right, whoever, just rotate them. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, take a team like I'm going to pick on this team because I know you follow them, and I know you follow them recently. But there's 2 or 3 teams I could say this about. But take Dayton as an example. They're number 18 right now, and they're coming off of a loss that was to Colorado on Saturday, and their other loss is to Kansas. Okay. And so those make sense. I mean, you get that those losses are not bad losses, but they have no quality wins. They don't have any wins as good as Indiana has 2 wins. I mean, they've beat Indiana State, Charleston, Nebraska of Omaha, Georgia,
Mutual of Omaha,
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech was a good team. They were ranked.
Houston Baptist.
Are they
were
still
not ranked. Nope, not ranked, and they're not a good team. St. Mary's is a decent team, and at one point
St. Mary's was ranked.
They were ranked at one point. Drake and North Texas and Grambling now. So you take that resume right there, and had they not been ranked to start the year, they would not be ranked right now. They wouldn't be ranked above Indiana. That's for sure.
Well, I think that they got a lot of boost from the eye test in the Maui Classic. Was it the Maui they played in?
Yes.
They got a lot of. They got a
beat
boost.
Georgia.
But it was how they played. It was how they played on the big stage, and I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying that gave them a big boost. Jay Billis really likes their play. He liked Obi Toppin. That dude's he's pretty tough, man. That dude can post you up inside, or he can pull a Larry Bird, pop a 3-pointer, and turn around and stare you down on the bench before it goes through the basket, he did, which was awesome.
I get it. I'm just saying, like if there weren't for the preseason rankings, you look at their resume right now, you wouldn't rank them. I mean, they don't have any quality wins better than Indiana's Florida State win.
Yeah,
and I would say Virginia Tech is maybe equivalent to Notre Dame. Or St. Mary's is maybe equivalent to Notre Dame?
No, I get what you're saying. It's just like I think the eye test that they got, that bump from the Maui Classic. They looked really good. They looked dominant, and you have a player in Obi Toppin that's a lottery pick. They're saying he's a lottery pick, and so when you got a player of that caliber on your team and you're playing well as a team,
you've got Trace Jackson Davis, who
he's not a lottery pick though.
He might not be a lottery pick, but he might be.
I don't think he's viewed that way right now, although I think he will be next year.
Okay, but Georgia has a top 3 pick in the country, top 5,
and that's all. And that's all they have.
It is all they have, but I mean, that doesn't qualify you for being ranked.
No. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think Dayton got the boost from the eye test at the Maui Class. They looked really good. They were on a big stage or on ESPN when they did it. So I think that's why, to me personally. I mean, but I think that people have to understand that there's 2 different polls out. There's a coaches poll and a media poll. Neither of them have Indiana in it. So it's neither the coaches nor the media thinks Indiana is the top 25 team. So it's not like you got one group that there's a conspiracy or anything like that. So, and then both of them have Dayton ranked. But again, I think that there doesn't need to be a poll until January 1st. But you know why there is? It's because people love to have stuff to talk about, and complain about, and to brag about. So it's just, and it's nothing more than that. That's why the college football playoffs, they don't come out with their first poll until deep into the season. Late into the season, to be honest with you. I think, the last 4 weeks? How long? I can't remember how long the college
it's probably
football
4 to 6 weeks. It's probably 4 to 6 weeks, somewhere in there.
Hit us up on the text line if you like here on this Christmas Eve, 812-269-6367. I know Tim's sitting at home doing nothing, just listening to us. Said he's off work today, man.
I'm surprised he ever works. He's always texting.
He's on it, man. He's on it.
I like it.
He likes the Christmas music Jake played. He also mentioned, and I saw this. I was going to try to play it, but you can't hear it in the audio. But Taco Fall was a guest conductor at the Boston Pops, doing some Christmas music. But man, I went up to the Pacers facilities last summer when they were going through the pre-draft stuff. Juwan Morgan was up there, but Taco Fall was in there that day too. And my gosh, I mean, I used to work right next to Tree Rollins. So I know what a 7-footer is like. And Tree is a big dude. But Taco Fall, oh my gosh, that dude is tall.
How tall
I mean,
is he?
tall.
He's like 7'5"?
Yes,
How tall
I'm
is he?
6'1", and I'm not tall or short, but man, when you're next to a guy that is almost a foot and a half taller than you, and you're 6'1", you feel little.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, like I have firsthand experience with that because I played with Eric Montross in high school.
Yes, right.
And obviously he seemed gigantic until we played Sean Bradley. And Sean Bradley was a full half a foot taller than him.
Wow.
7'7". And it just to see Eric be dwarfed
Sean
by
Bradley
somebody like that.
God, where did BYU?
Yeah, somewhere I can't remember, something like that.
I think it was BYU.
But we played him in an AAU tournament. And to see him be dwarfed by Sean Bradley was mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's those guys, man. It just still it cracks me up. But they love him in Boston. Love him. There was a clip the other day I saw too where I guess the crowd was chanting for Taco Fall, and the camera's on oh gosh darn it, Brad Stevens. And after a second, Brad Stevens just gives the he kind of tries to pump the crowd up. Just like I need more. Right. Is that all you got?
Right.
And so they really come with it. Then he gives the wave. He wait, and the next day here comes Taco Fall running to the scorer's table. And
if Taco Bell doesn't have some type of deal going on,
they're
sponsoring him or for an advertisement for free tacos if he scores a bucket. They're missing the boat.
What was that, Jake?
What'd you say, Jake?
Oh, I thought Jake said something. Never mind. Go back to sleep.
Did you ever hear the old Bob and Tom things when they used to do the Sean Bradley?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, you have to have Jake find that sometime. It's pretty funny.
Oh, goodness. Let's see. Text into the show. Isn't Todd dwarfed by Bill Walton? There you go.
Of course I am. In knowledge of volcanoes and waterfalls and all sorts of things. He dwarfs me in many different ways. He's a peach.
College football tomorrow, Boise State, Washington, Las Vegas Bowl, then University of Central Florida in the Marshall Bad Boy Mowers, Gasparilla, Peach Schnapps, Jungle Jumping Baseball Bowl. I'm just making that up. There's just so many names on there.
Gasparilla Bowl was yesterday.
Well, then, Tim, you're wrong.
Is there another one? Is there another Gasparilla Bowl?
I don't know. Bad Boy Mowers, Gasparilla.
Yeah, that was yesterday. UCF played Marshall in the Gasparilla Bowl yesterday.
Well, then, Tim, you're wrong.
He'd be wrong.
Joker says, according to Kim Palm, IU has played a better schedule than Kentucky. If you take the opponent's rankings of each team, IU's average opponent ranking is 164. UK's is 194. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Kentucky hasn't really played. I mean, they played Michigan State to open the season. Let's see. Who else did they lose to? Ohio State. And I'm trying to think if they have any quality wins. I can't remember. Not that I care, but they dropped down.
Michigan State win.
Yeah, that was it doesn't look as good now as it did at the start.
It sure doesn't.
Well, of course, Michigan State was number one at the time, but then Kentucky goes to number one, and what happened to them? They lost the next day to Evansville. But
right,
so that's just going to be a fun thing all season. But Kentucky sits at 19th right now. They play Louisville on Saturday in Rupp Arena, but Louisville is playing a lot better than Kentucky, and I don't think Louisville's won there for a minute. But that should be a heck of a game on Saturday.
Yeah, it will be. And that's one of those, Kentucky, it's like they did against Ohio State. Like they play to their talent level or their opponent's talent level. And it seems like, but I mean, yeah, their best win is Michigan State, which is first game of the year, like we said. So if you discount that, I mean, their best win besides that's probably Utah Valley State. Probably be my guess.
Yep. We got to get to the break. Producer's getting on us, slapping us on the wrist. We let it go too far. That's what he's supposed to do. Hey, we'll be back with tons more here on this Christmas Eve edition of Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary. We're back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Who is that? Bing Crosby? The Drifters. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle and Leary here with you on this Christmas Eve. Coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. A little Christmas music for you. We will be on tomorrow, but I'll be honest with you, it's going to be an encore presentation. So you can listen to it whenever you like.
I could sum it up probably for you. Todd was right. Jim was wrong. There.
Right.
Saved
Man.
you 2 hours.
He lives in that cocoon.
Yeah.
Have to get him out of-
I will, one of these days, if it happens, I will admit when I'm wrong. It just hadn't happened yet.
Right. No one's holding their breath, promise you. Archie Miller had some things to say about Saturday's game, the toughness that his team exhibited in getting the win. Let's hear what Archie had to say.
And when things aren't going real well, typically that's when your alpha dogs and your leaders sort of step up and, rally the troops. You don't even have to be in the game to have a great voice in the locker room or a huddle. Some guys are now way more noticeable in terms of approaching, we're okay, hang in there, there's a voice. Whatever it may be, move on to the next play. There's much more of that talk with our team, which is a big, big component to becoming a good team, is guys obviously being able to communicate and stick with one another through the good and the bad.
There's Archie.
What? Why? What are you going to rip on that statement too? That's a.
Who are you talking about?
You. Like every day, you rip his press conference.
No, I actually don't, and
you kind of do.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You mock it. You mock it. Then.
It's because it's easy to impersonate.
Okay,
that's it.
But that's just coach speak. That's what they do. Like you could do the same thing with Bill Belichick.
No, it's not what they all do. Bill Belichick's terrible. He's the worst. He doesn't give any answers. Yeah, we played football. They did good. That's a Bill Belichick answer. He's horrible, but he does it on purpose. He just is decided he's going to be a dick, and he can be, and he is.
What would you? I mean, what would you really expect him to say? What would you expect Archie to say?
Just give. Again, you're turning this into something already that was not said. I did not say anything. I just said, "There's Archie." There's Archie, and that was Archie. I have no comment on the comment. Other than there it is. I was just presenting
So what do you think about it? So what do you think about it? I'm asking your opinion then.
Whatever
he gave it.
Whatever he said.
The alpha dog comment, you're good with that?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, exactly. What he said.
Okay. You're the best.
I'm just I'm not going down that road. I know better. We only have 4 minutes left. I'm not going down that road.
Oh,
that was 4 minutes to go.
Yes, I need much more time to rebut whatever you would say. So yeah.
I'm not going to say anything. I mean,
move on to that. Move on.
I'm being painted into a corner on something that's not true.
Medium true.
Tom Allen also talked to the media about this. The Indiana program is preparing for the Gator Bowl down in Jacksonville. They leave, I guess, right after Christmas because he talks about them having a whole week of practice, which they'll all be there together, of course. And it was announced yesterday, confirmed that Kalen DeBoer will be calling the plays for Indiana. I guess they still had to get that worked out officially amongst the schools, but they were able to do that. But let's hear what Coach Tom Allen had to say.
Our guys are really locked in now. They got all their exams over with, and here a couple days before Christmas, a chance to kind of lock in, get a lot of good work in, and then we'll wrap up tomorrow. Have a really good one, good go in the morning. That's my expectation, and then we'll get our guys home for Christmas. Just do want to confirm that Kalen DeBoer will be calling the offense in the bowl game. Something we've been working towards, and we're hoping to be able to have done, and both sides work together to make that a possibility. So really appreciate that, and he wants to finish well here and finish what we started. So I'm excited for that for sure, and I know our players are as well. Questions?
There's Coach Tom Allen, Indiana's football coach, talking about preparations for the Taxslayer Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida for Indiana as they take on the Tennessee Volunteers. One thing that came out of that was Stevie Scott. Not sure if he's going to be ready yet. He's trying to get back, he talked about, but it did sound good that Samson James will be available. He looked really, really good in that Purdue game, replacing Stevie Scott, who was out with an injury, and then he got hurt. But he looked really good before that. But it's good to know that they'll have him back because they have to have one of those two in that offense, I think, that offense to flow as it has all season, and it sounds like they will. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to this game. Tennessee is a 1.5-point favorite, so it's basically a pick 'em. It's a toss-up game. It ought to be a fun game.
Yeah, we're certainly looking forward to it. I know the team and coaching staff is excited about it. I'm lukewarm on the whole Kalen DeBoer calling the offense thing. I'm not as excited about that as you are.
Well, it's not just me; it's pretty much everybody, including Tom Allen and all the Indiana fans, are also excited about that. So
you talked to all the Indiana fans?
No, but I don't need to talk to all of them. Ooh, wow, what a blow.
Jake just fired a shot from nowhere.
Off the bow, across the bow, the Indiana fandom. Woo!
Well, okay.
There's that.
It's a family friendly Christmas.
There goes
show.
Christmas. Jake getting a big
Jake
old
just comes around here,
lump of coal for you,
man.
You just dumped a bunch of water on the Christmas presents. Just came out and dumped a bucket of water right on it. It does happen. You know what? It will be interesting to see the turnout. See what people. I've asked a lot of people, and I'm not sure how many people are actually going. It'll be disappointing if there's not, but I think that they're expecting Indiana has a great presence in Florida already. And I think that they're going to get a lot from that. Plus it's a good game. It's a great place to play. It's in Florida. There's just a lot of positive things going with it. So we'll see, but we got a lot more to get to here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. We've got more to talk about, another whole hour to get through. We got more people to hear from. We're going to hear from, Peyton Ramsey for one. Raekwon Jones is also in there. I don't know if we have any basketball players. I can't remember. We have any? No. So there you go. But we got plenty more. We got Todd Leary, so we got all that and more. Stay tuned. We're back with more Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this.
With your Christmas of white.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Ryan Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
You're on the line with Jamal Meeks, former Indiana Hoosier, number 23, 1992. And I'm on the beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle and Leary, Christmas Eve. Appreciate you joining us here on this Christmas Eve show. Some people are off work. Some people are not. Did you get all your shopping done?
I'm going to start in about 59 minutes.
I thought that's what yesterday was for.
Yeah, I didn't get to it.
Boy, you better hope Amazon's got some express service.
Amazon? No way. I like to go to the mall. That's how Christmas starts.
Oh, dude, if I can avoid – it's like a challenge every year. Can I avoid the mall? And I think this is 2 consecutive years I have managed to do that. I'm on a streak.
I'm weird in the fact.
Well, hey, there's no doubt about that. We confirmed that a long time ago.
Many different things that factor into that, but one of my weirdnesses is I enjoy going to the mall and shopping.
During Christmas? You enjoy it during Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
this time because there won't be hardly anybody there today.
It's not the shopping that it drives me nuts. It's the parking. It's like parking in Bloomington.
Gosh.
It's like trying to park in Bloomington. Forget it.
I have no problem parking in Bloomington.
You know, there was an article in the paper today about Bloomington parking and people getting towed from the Taco Bell lot, which they're talking about the Taco Bell right across from Yogi's.
Yeah. Now, you know what? That's been happening for 30 years because I know people who used to get towed from that Taco Bell parking.
Man, there was guys talking, but the funny thing is about the 2 people they talked to that got towed, both cracking me up. The guy, he says, yeah, I parked and I walked over to see a menu on a yet to open food truck. And I turned around and they already got my car loaded up. I'm like, oh, baloney.
Yeah, that's crap.
Dude, first of all, he's right behind you. So he pulled in and did all that without you knowing it.
Right.
Whatever. And then the other girl that got towed, she's, well, I just pulled in there and ran an errand real quick. And in 7 minutes, they had it hooked up. I'm like, okay, baloney.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But I will say this Bloomington is a weird town when it comes to parking. It's like, man, they don't want people downtown. It's like they don't want them down there because parking is the biggest pain in the rear in Bloomington of any place I've ever seen. It's correct. It kills me that the parking is that bad in this city that they haven't done anything about it. But they've got parking meters in neighborhoods. It's crazy.
I must just be lucky because I don't ever seem to.
You are the luckiest parker in the history of parking because there's always a spot right in front for you.
It seems pretty easy.
Well, that's just the life of Todd. That's what happens when you're the Todd father.
Everything comes easy to me.
Everything comes easy.
That's for sure.
Life according to Todd. Let's see. How has the home team decided on a bowl game? That's a great question. You know what? That's a Google question. How are home teams decided in bowl games? That didn't listen to me right. It said power team. I said how are? That's a good question. I'm assuming maybe a coin flip. Probably rotates every year in the case of the Orange Bowl in even number seasons, not necessarily the year the bowl takes place. The ACC is the home team. Last year, the Orange Bowl was a playoff game, so that changed that. But so there you go. I guess maybe they rotate it between if they have a 2-conference tie-in. One year it's this conference, and the next year it's this conference. We don't know. Who is the home team for the Gator Bowl?
Indiana will play Tennessee on January 2nd.
You're not telling me who the home team is, lady. That she didn't know.
She might have gotten to it.
Yeah.
You cut her off.
She didn't know. She wasn't answering my question that I asked. Typical woman. Did not ask what I asked her.
She might have gotten to it.
I was kidding. That was a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
So
No, that's the stuff he says off the air too, people.
Dude, don't say that because they'll think you're serious. There are some things you can't say on the air that they will take for real.
You just said it.
It was a joke. I don't say it off the air. I've never.
Sometimes you can't tell jokes. Sometimes you can't tell jokes.
Well, not with you around. That's for sure. Tennessee's the home team, Jake says.
Oh my gosh! You can't give a fact statement like that and then say I think.
Well, I don't think did they have. There you go. So. Maybe Indiana's going to have a game on the road like they had at Nebraska.
I will tell you
Maybe they'll have a game on the road like they had at Nebraska. It doesn't really matter. They'll just be wearing their I like the red uniforms better anyway.
Tennessee is the home team.
Oh, well, thank you for that information, Johnny.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But, hey, here, I'm going to give you a fact statement. Tennessee is the home team. I'm not going to say I think maybe afterwards.
Who are you picking in that game? We got a long time before that game gets here.
Yeah,
because especially with Indiana, they've got Kalen DeBoer calling the plays, so that puts them. Surely you're going to take Tennessee.
That's a disadvantage. That part of it I don't like. I think Indiana could still probably overcome that, but I don't know. I'm a reserve judgment. I have not watched any Tennessee film whatsoever.
People, if you're listening, doing a poll, would you prefer someone else called the offensive plays as opposed to Kalen DeBoer in the bowl game? Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367.
Give the facts involved in what you're saying.
People know. Do you think? Well, wait a minute. He's not in California, A. B, do you think people do not know what's going on? If they listen to this show, they listen every day, so they know what the facts are, and they more than likely follow Indiana football.
I'm not even sure you know what the facts are.
Okay.
Is he here? Is he here right now?
Yep.
And when did he get here?
I don't have his itinerary.
You don't know the facts. So you don't know the facts.
I know the facts that this is something you know absolutely nothing about what you're talking about, But I'll let the people, like I said, I'm just going to let the people let them.
You gave a statement, and this is what I based my statement back to you off of.
Why are you basing it off of me?
Because you made a statement that said, even if he was not here to do the game planning, he could do the game planning over the phone. I heard you say that on the show, and I could have Jake pull it back up. And I said, if that's the case, I would rather him not be involved in the game.
I also said he would be here some. He may not be here all the time.
And if he's not here all the time, I don't want him involved in the play calling.
Okay, well, that's been 2 weeks now. So now we're down to the last week.
What's that mean?
The last week before the game.
Okay, and if he is with the team, the full time between now and January the 2nd.
Now, wait a minute. Whoa. But now does not start. This conversation started 2 weeks ago.
I agree with you. If he wasn't here at that point, then
he was not here all that time. Obviously, he was in California some.
I'm not a fan.
Okay, well, there you go. And I just asked the fans what they think. Hit us up on the text line. Let us know. 812-269-6367. What are your thoughts on there? Tim says, where was it? I think he said he was okay with Hart calling the plays.
That a boy.
Yeah,
finally, Tim's coming around. Some common sense
to wacko side.
Here, I want you to tell me how crazy I am with this statement. Okay, and you know I'm mega confident in myself, but even the somewhat limited football knowledge that I have, if I studied every situation and every play call that was made throughout this entire season when Kalen DeBoer was there, I would almost be willing to bet you at a 95% rate I could call the same play Kalen DeBoer was going to call in the bowl game. But I'm saying if I studied it and I looked at what defenses do,
if that's the case,
how they line up and what they do,
then if that's the case, anybody can do it. Then anybody can be the offensive coordinator.
Anybody that takes the time and studies and does it. Anyone could be a basketball coach that takes the time and studies to learn what it is they're supposed to do.
Well, we disagree on that point. I don't think that you can sit next to somebody for a period of time and all of a sudden just do the same thing that they can. Otherwise,
so you're telling me no one in the world
anyway, I'll go ahead and finish.
No one in the world's ever capable of being an offensive coordinator in Indiana again because Kalen DeBoer's gone.
Here, how about if I say what I was actually saying? What I said was, I don't believe that anybody can just sit down next to somebody and over a short period of time know what they're going to call and know what the proper call should be. Absolutely not. If that was the case, wait a minute.
But you can't say a short period of time and not identify what that period of time is. is that's a full season, I disagree with you. If that's a week and a half,
I'll give
then I
you the
agree with
full season. Not just anybody can
You're
sit
wrong.
next to Kalen DeBoer for a full season and be as good as he is. If that was the case, then there would be a billion people just as good as him, and he would be not relevant. He would just be a teacher because anybody that sits next to him is just as good as he is. That's not the case, and that's not reality. I know you know that, and if you're just doing that to make some radio talk, great, but there's no way you actually believe that.
I do believe. I am not in any way, shape, or form trying to be argumentative with you. I am telling you, if I sat next to Kalen DeBoer for the whole season and I saw how he reacted to certain plays and certain calls and certain defenses and everything that was out there and the plays that he called, I think I could come up with a fairly educated guess as to what play he's going to call. It isn't like, hey, you and I sat there and watched the Purdue game and about rammed our head into the table at some of the play calls that were going on. Like, let's not act like we were sitting over there going, oh my gosh, this guy is the play calling messiah. We were about to ram our head into the TV watching it. Remember that? I remember it.
Well, I disagree with your take, and you're entitled to your opinion. I think that Tom Allen disagrees with your take. I think that any coach would disagree with that, but it's an opinion. All opinions are welcome. They're all welcome. It's an open forum. Everyone is free to express their crazy opinions whenever they want.
Other people say it's an opinion. When I say it's fact.
There you go. The Todd Father fact of the day. We don't change that to the Todd Father fact of the day.
Mm-hmm. I can give you a fact of the day. The problem is
I know you can give them. That
many facts.
Doesn't mean they're always right.
I have so many facts to share with people.
Oh my goodness. What a fun day. Man, I cannot believe it's Christmas Eve. This is our not our last broadcast of the year, obviously. Hey, next week, woo, Jacksonville, baby. I wonder how many people are going to the bowl game. I'd be interested to see who's going to the bowl game.
My hands up.
From a fan standpoint, I want to know who all is going. It's going to be interesting to see because this is a rare opportunity. Indiana's never played in a Florida bowl game. They've only played in January twice before, and once was an anomaly because it was the Peach Bowl when the Peach Bowl was not really a big game. And that Peach Bowl may have been against Auburn because I think they also played Tennessee in the Peach Bowl once. I think they lost 27-22 in that one, but yeah, only the third time a January bowl for Indiana to be practicing this late is amazing. It's not normal. Usually they're getting ready to play a bowl game like right now because they're playing either right before or right after Christmas when they have made a bowl game. But it's fun to be doing it in January. They're going to be the only game in town that night too, that Thursday night. So that's going to be fun as well. It's the 75th Taxslayer Gator Bowl. So this thing, is this the oldest bowl? I'm trying to remember. Or is it like the sixth oldest bowl? It's one of the old ones. I think it's the sixth oldest bowl going. It's been around for a long time. You know, this is one of those bowls you grew up watching: the Gator Bowl, the Holiday Bowl, the Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl, all the good bowls, Cereal Bowl.
It is one of the ones you would name off when you talk about Citrus Bowl and Orange Bowl and all that.
It had great names. It had great names. I love the bowl names, except for now they're all screwed up. Cherubundi, bad mowers, all that stuff. I'm like, what? Where's that? Who? You don't know where any of these games are anymore. If they don't have the name like Gator Bowl, I know where the Gator Bowl, Orange Bowl, you know where the Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, Fiesta, you know where all those bowls are. But when they start throwing in the citrus tree, orange apple bowl game, whatever, you're like, where's that?
I was looking up some good information for you.
Another fact?
Yep. I was looking up a good fact for you.
Another Christmas nugget, a gift for the fans.
Yep. You'll like this one.
Gift for the people.
You'll like this one. There's
gift for the people.
In Jacksonville, Florida, at Brewz, BREWZ Riverside, there is a Gator Bowl watch party, which I'm guessing with the Alumni Association, we will also be doing a couple of shows from that location.
Awesome.
There you go. See, I have good facts for you.
Perfect. Now we just got to get that confirmed.
I give you the address and everything. 2695 Post Street in Jacksonville, Florida.
It's great that we've decided that. We haven't even talked to him yet. But hopefully that would be fun. But we're going to be, obviously we're going to be doing some shows somewhere. We don't know where yet, but that may be the spot. You know who's going to show up to that then?
Who?
Tom Brew. How could he not?
Why wouldn't he?
Well, just saying. Of course he would. He'd probably be there every day because it's Brews.
Oh, look at you.
I thought that you
I didn't even put it together. I didn't put it together. My bad.
Didn't he make the connection, Mr. Obvious?
I didn't.
There's a golf tournament also. What are you talking about, Tim? He said there's a golf tournament. Are you talking about it in Jacksonville? Tim texting in, hit us up on the text line, said there's a golf tournament also, but I'm not sure what he's talking about. He said, tell Todd Amazon will deliver by midnight if you order today before 12:15. So you're going to have a little bit of time to make the deadline.
I do not want them to deliver.
That's
I want to go to the mall.
He's doing his own shopping, folks. He's doing his own.
I like to go to the mall.
He's good. He's a man amongst the people. Today is the day the Todd Father walks amongst the people. He showers them with his presence, and I don't mean gifts. I mean just presence.
And my knowledge, my fact knowledge.
And his capabilities of being right all the time in his mind.
Yep.
There's nothing better. It's a glorious day for that. What are you doing for Christmas, by the way?
I will be having Christmas with the boys. And
the boys, they are all, two of them are in college at IU, one's still at Carmel, Will, of course.
Yep, but we will be having it in Carmel, and then I will be headed back to Newburgh to work tomorrow morning. Or no, Thursday morning.
Gee whiz. J.J. Watt.
What we do.
Expected to return to practice Tuesday and play in the postseason. J.J. Watt's coming back, baby.
Seriously?
Yep. Torn pectoral. Expected to return to practice Tuesday and play in the postseason.
That's incredible.
Breaking news. There you go. If you're a Texans fan.
Which no one in Indiana is.
We were talking about parking earlier. Joker says being a former player allows you special privileges that others don't have, Todd. Parking anywhere you like in Bloomington. Pretty much what he does.
I wish that was the truth, but it's
pretty much. He just rolls. It's like when we go to the games, he just rolls up to Assembly Hall.
Jay Edwards, on the other hand, did think that was a fact.
How many parking tickets did he have?
A lot. I can remember. That was legendary. I think we got in trouble on our team because of how many parking tickets he had. And he was gone. He was gone.
How many tickets are we talking about? Any idea?
I'm going to say more than 50. It was the number I heard, which is a lot.
Well, it was easy. I know how easy it was to get one back then because I got them too, and it has not changed. That's the funny thing is this town has been like that forever. Why? Why are they so against people parking here?
They're not against it. They just want to make money off of it.
I'm surprised they don't have meters in people's driveways. I'm not kidding. They got meters everywhere. I've never seen meters in neighborhoods before. They have meters every place they can stick a meter.
Hey, this is the difference between living in tiny town Floyd Central.
No, this is
the big city, bud.
Bigger towns or smaller towns, it doesn't matter. I've been in tons and tons of towns. Believe me, I've never seen one in regards to parking like Bloomington. Bloomington is not good when it comes to parking. And I don't think that's anything that's not known by everybody that lives in and around the Bloomington area. Parking is just unbelievably horrible.
Now, I'll say that the from the stadium perspective and where those are all built and everything that's around there and the way it's landlocked, that's a nightmare. That I'll give you. But the downtown parking, I have never had an issue.
Well, that's because you're the Todd father. You don't understand. Not everybody's the Todd father. We don't have those privileges where they roll the red carpet out for us everywhere we go.
You've ridden with me plenty, And
it's right, and I get to walk on the carpet when I'm with you.
I pull straight up and park just like everybody else does.
Right, I know, right in front of the door, and they open the door and welcome you in and everything. It's great. That's why I like to ride with you.
Yep.
I know we're getting special. We're getting taken care of special privileges.
Yep. Man, you've got some nonsense going today.
What'd you get Jessica for Christmas? Something good, I hope. She has to put up with your nonsense.
I can't say it on the air.
Oh, man. Oh, is she listening?
No, I haven't got it yet. I told you I'm not starting shopping.
You should have lied. You should have said that's the only thing that I got was because that's the most important
That's
one.
a good point. Hey, roll this back, Jake.
It's too late.
Yes, I got her something really nice, but I just don't want to spoil the
I hope
surprise.
she's not listening.
She's in Virginia, and they do not have reception, so she is definitely not listening.
Is that because they don't have electricity down there?
They do have electricity, but barely. Somebody's got to be on the treadmill in order for them to be able to watch TV.
We got to have Jamal Meeks running so we can get clear.
No, they would all freeze to death if Jamal had to be in charge of being on the treadmill.
Get the FBI Fat Boy Fit Club, FBFC.
Yeah. I think the Fat Boy Fit Club is just joined into the Fat Boy Drinking Beer Club all of a sudden.
Well, it is that time of year. It's time to take a hiatus.
Yep. You don't have to start that New Year's resolution for another week.
If you were listening in the first hour, I talked about Alan Henderson's Facebook post, which he was dismayed that the selection committee, while containing people from various walks, there's coaches, administrators, faculty members, things of that sort on there, like Todd Yeagley, Terry Morin, both on the committee, but not someone from Indiana basketball. And Alan Henderson was lamenting the fact that with it being basically the most important sport at Indiana, that he thought that there should be a representative of that. And we talked about this earlier. I don't think it's going to matter because in this situation, normally I would probably give a little more credence to it because of what you talked about earlier with Indiana being so secretive. But even though they are secretive, there's no way that three of the people we've talked about are not top candidates, and that is Scott Dolson, who's currently in the department, basically the number 2 guy underneath Fred Glass, Pat Kraft, who is the athletics director at Temple and a former Indiana football player and member of the staff at Indiana, Chris Reynolds, a former basketball player, currently the athletics director at Bradley over in Springfield, Illinois, and also a former basketball player here, as well as being a former member of the staff here. So there's no way those 3 guys, and I'm not saying it's just them, but those are the three most prominent. But there's no way none of those guys.
Those are the 3 most obvious. I think those are the 3 most obvious. Like beyond that,
and they're quality, and those are at least quality candidates. I think we would all agree to 3 quality guys right there. But and there's tons of other people. I don't know who they're looking at. We're not going to know because, as they've said, we'll find out when they name the guy.
It doesn't have to be. I'm not a person who sits here and says it has to be an IU person. It has to be a Chris Reynolds because he went to IU. Yes, Chris, a friend of mine, and I know what a good human being and person he is. So I don't think you could go wrong with that selection. I don't know Pat Kraft. I obviously do know Scott Dolson. I know he would be fantastic, and he probably would keep things as close to the same as what they have been. But I mean, then there's other people that I'm sure we don't know of that are all also great candidates. I didn't know Fred Glass's name when they announced him, and I think he's done a great job. So
yeah, it's just a different situation this time because we didn't know. I don't know that these candidates did not exist then. When Fred Glass got hired, Chris Reynolds wasn't in that position. Pat Kraft wasn't in that position. Scott Dolson was not close to being where he is now. So none of these guys, they didn't really have this situation in. And Fred Glass was kind of a surprise hire, but it was all surprise then. And it may not be any of these 3 guys, Todd. There may be a candidate that we don't know about that is just blows them off the charts. Who knows? But at least we know that these are 3 viable candidates with IU ties. I don't care if it's an IU guy or not either. But if all things are equal, then I would probably think that they should go with an IU connected person if all things are equal as far as talent, ability, experience, all that in the position, which I think that that's the case here.
Yeah, and it is. And also another factor in my mind in it is, in 2009 when they were hiring Fred Glass, I would not say the athletic department was in near as good a shape as it is today. And so, maybe keeping someone like Dolson involved in it because of the good place that it's in, maybe that's an advantage that he might have. I mean, I'm just stating advantages everyone might have in certain scenarios. I think the athletic department's in a great place. I think it has made dramatic improvements over the years, and I think Scott's been a big part of that, and he knows what that plan. He's had the closest knowledge to what that plan has been and accomplished and what it looks forward to accomplish.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get to that point. It's.
I don't think they'll announce anyone until probably right before school's out and Fred Glass's last week. Do you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they're going to do anything that stops us wondering any sooner than we can.
Yeah, no.
But yeah. Yeah, we did go pretty long, even though we thought we couldn't. We got two people just don't know how to shut up. We got plenty more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat on Christmas Eve. You're listening to Coyle Larry from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We're back with more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Ryan Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch.
Welcome back to the Todd Leary Hour.
Could not be more indicative of your attitude.
What are you talking about? Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Leary with you here on this Christmas Eve celebration. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hope you get to spend it with your family or friends or by yourself if that's your preference. Whatever you like. Hope everybody's having a great time. That's all that matters. Just have a good time, right?
Yep, of course.
The AP Top 25 poll is out again, of course. Gonzaga, the newest number one. Unlike the 5 previous recipients of that, I don't think that they're going to take a loss anytime soon because they play in the West Coast Conference, which includes Bloomington South and Floyd Central, I think.
I think that the committee would take a page out of the bowl committee's resume
playbook
this year. Yep, playbook this year. And if someone got on a crazy roll, if Ohio State beat 3 highly ranked teams, I think they would jump them right above them.
Yeah, they'll certainly have the opportunity because playing in the Big Ten, you're going to have currently there are 6 teams from the Big Ten ranked in the top 25. Of course, Ohio State leads that group at the number 2 spot. Then you go down to number 11, Michigan. Maryland's close behind them at number 13. Michigan State right behind them at 14. Then you have all the way down to number 25, Iowa. Is that 5 or 6? Did somebody drop out?
What do you mean drop out?
Penn State. Missed Penn State number 20. I missed Penn State at number 20. So there's how about Penn State hanging in there, 10-2 on the season? Whew. But we expected they were going to be good.
Yep, they're good. They really are good. They deserve that ranking. Iowa's the one that kind of surprises me a little bit, but they had a couple of quality wins. So
yeah, they're Kentucky number 19, and they play Louisville on Saturday. If they lose to Louisville, bye-bye. That'll be 4 losses for them. They will be out of the top 25, which would be funny to see them drop out. Who dropped out? Somebody dropped out.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Can you imagine a top 25 without North Carolina and Kentucky in it? That's how crazy this season has become.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
And I don't even really have anything against North Carolina other than they stole Eric Montross.
How did that happen?
Oh, man, don't ask me.
How did that happen, man?
Yeah.
How big of a difference would that have been? We're talking national championships, plural, if he's in Indiana, right?
You there's so much different.
I know,
so many
but
factors that are involved, but I can't imagine. I can't imagine. He won a national championship at North Carolina. It would be hard to say he made a bad decision.
But he would have won or not more at Indiana.
Yeah, I can argue that for sure, and I can say he would have been utilized. He would have been utilized so much differently. I saw at one point in time him playing the point on a full court press at North Carolina. That's not Eric's game. That wasn't in the best interest of Eric. That might have been in the best interest of North Carolina, but that wasn't in the best interest of developing Eric Montross.
You all could have been the latest team to go undefeated. Because you were already damn good. You were already national championship caliber team without him.
He was so good. He should have been in my opinion, how can you argue with where he went? But in my opinion, if he would have gone to a big man type university like Indiana, his career could have just been outrageous.
Did he just not like Knight?
Let's just say there were some differences. There were some family differences.
Yeah, unfortunate, but he's just one in a long line.
Yeah,
that fits into that category. That we're from Indiana and could have made a difference.
Yep, no doubt.
We talked about the teams that North Carolina and Kentucky about dropping out. Arizona, they're number 24.
I was looking at the exact same thing right now.
There's another team that you normally see in the top 5 that is teetering on going off the edge.
Yeah, I mean, with that St. John's loss that they just had, I'm surprised that they are still in it.
Yeah, see, that just cracks me up that they let them stay in there. They're on by the chin of their chinny chin.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they have a good win against Illinois. I mean, they lost to Baylor, Gonzaga, and St. John's.
Now, Florida State, of course, who Indiana beat, is hanging in at number 17.
Yep. Have they lost since? They played in Indiana?
I'm trying to think. Were they unbeaten when Indiana played them?
They have not lost since they played Indiana.
Virginia.
They lost to Pittsburgh to start the year, and they lost to Indiana.
Who did Virginia just lose to? They just had a bad loss.
Purdue. And they just lost to South Carolina like 2 nights ago.
Got drilled. Did they get drilled?
At home, at Virginia.
I mean, like double digits drilled.
I don't know about that. They were down by 20 in the first half, or 18 in the first half, but they came back and tied it late in the second half. But South Carolina made some key shots and came away. I think they ended up winning by they won by 11.
Coming back from the holidays, you got to get ready for Indiana's going to have Arkansas. Then Big Ten play comes. You got that week break, but and again, that's another weird week break. And then you got to get into Big Ten play. What's that going to be like for those players?
You know, those weeks off are terrible. Like I'm not a fan of that at all. I like, you know, I don't playing 3 games in 3 days is not great either. You can make an argument against that, but playing 2 games in a week's time is kind of ideal. And you know, this break, the way that this thing is playing out and starting, you know, they're going to have played 2 games in 15 days and then have, you know, another 5 days off before they play Maryland again. So it's just I'm not a fan of the way this schedule has played out.
Hey, we've got Peyton Ramsey we haven't heard from, Jake, Indiana's quarterback for the Taxler Gator Bowl. Gosh, I wish Michael Penix could play. Nothing against Peyton Ramsey. But I wish Michael Penix could play mainly because I'd love for him to play against Tennessee, a team who had offered him, and on the day he was to visit, they said, nah, don't come. We changed our mind. How about that? They had already gotten their plane tickets, were ready to go, and they're told, nah, forget it.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy part is it's not like they have 17 guys at quarterback that you would think they're
it's not like it's Ohio State.
Like they're overstocked in that.
Yeah, it's like they're Ohio State
position.
Or something.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I promise you now they're looking going, well, that was maybe a mistake.
They're blaming that on somebody that's not there anymore, I bet you.
With the exception of his fragility. I mean, he's got to get that, which is the reason he's not going to, even if he is able to play, which he may be able to possibly physically, I don't know because he had that surgery. But they've got him in get in shape mode where you can't get hurt mode. Build him up. They're trying to put some meat on him, put some weight on him, put some mass on him. He's such a great athlete, but you know, he suffered quite a few injuries in his short time, and so they're trying to beef him up for the Big Ten battles that he's going to be going through next year.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to get to the point where he can be available all the time. Like he's just, you know, I mean, you could say the same thing about Rob Finney in basketball. I mean, those guys, he has bulked up. He has gotten his body to the position where he is, you know, he's built like a really solid Big Ten guard, and for some reason he just can't stay healthy. And let's hope that we're past all those issues.
Tim was, I think, touting the play calling ability of Mike Hart. Says IU running backs coach Mike Hart in his 8 years as a coach was the all-time rushing leader at Michigan. Spent 3 years with the Colts before getting into coaching. He has tutored 4 1,000-yard rushers, 2 freshmen of the year. But what's that have to do with calling plays? Nothing. But yeah, he's a great coach from former Michigan.
Isn't he like assistant? Isn't he assistant offensive coordinator?
No, he's just a running backs coach. But he was great.
That? Is that a fact?
No, I'm not sure about it. I don't know because they those titles. I'm not sure that I have not heard who. If there's an assistant, I don't remember that title being batted about. It very well may be, but it might be one of the other guys. Who knows? But Peyton Ramsey, talked about getting ready for the Gator Bowl as well. Let's hear what the quarterback had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had a good week or so, 2 weeks of developmental work and just kind of staying sharp. Not necessarily game plan for Tennessee as we just hopped into it yesterday. So guys just staying sharp, younger guys getting reps and continuing to just have fun out there being with the guys another month.
A little bit of relief when you learned that Coach DeBoer will still be calling the plays?
For sure, yeah. I mean, Coach DeBoer has been monumental in my development as a player and as a person. And to be able to have another game with him means the world. It's awesome. Says a lot about him that he was willing to come back and wanted to be a part of this one.
How do you feel the younger guys, obviously for the older guys, there's only a few of you that were part of the full experience, the last time you guys went. How do you feel the younger guys who haven't done this before, their mindset's been since you come back to practice?
Yeah, I think it's a learning process for sure. Just kind of going all the way back to like a spring ball practice, and you're just kind of going out there, and you're not necessarily preparing for anything, but you're just going out and trying to get better. That can be hard at times, and I think the guys, the first couple of days were kind of getting used to that whole process of just going out and playing football just to get better, and it's been good for them to learn. I think as they will obviously have to go through spring ball and that whole process. So I think it's been good for those younger guys to kind of develop in that way.
There's Peyton Ramsey, your quarterback for the Indiana Hoosiers, as he preparing for the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl in Jacksonville on January 2nd. That game's at 7 p.m. It is the only game in town that night, so Indiana's going to have center stage. A great spot for them, Todd. That's an Indiana. They can provide an Indiana commercial for Indiana football all night long if they want.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you heard if you watched any of that bowl game yesterday, that's all they talked about all day long. That was the only bowl game going on for the day, and they brought it up a dozen times, it seemed like, at least in that game. So I think Indiana will for sure want to take advantage of that same opportunity.
The Indiana women's team back in action on Saturday the 28th. So there's something for you to do as well. They're at home to Michigan State. They were ranked. Are they not ranked now? Because there's not a number next to them, but I bet you they still are. But, that should be another tough test. And what a way to start off Big Ten play for this team. Coming off a tough loss against UCLA. I watched that game, like I said. Man, but it's funny how not hitting shots and things like that comes against a good team. And so often you're like, okay, is that because they're playing a better team? But I'll be honest with you. In that particular game, I don't think UCLA had much to do with it. Indiana was just missing open shots. I don't know if they got hyped up. They knew they're playing a big-time opponent. It was on TV, and it's a chance to beat a top 10 team again. They were at home. I don't think that had anything to do with it, but man, they just weren't themselves that day.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, and it's probably got some validity when they're playing a team that's not UCLA ranked in the top 10. I mean, you could probably still get away with it, but unfortunately, they just had one of those bad shooting nights in a game where you can't get away with it, and you've got to play well in order to beat UCLA. And like you said, I mean, you watched the game, and UCLA didn't even play that well, so they weren't really knocking shots down either. So it's a game that Indiana could have probably very easily won if they did shoot well, and it would have been a real battle had both teams shot the ball well. So you just got to move on from that. I mean, they've got another good team coming in. Michigan State's not ranked right now, but they were a week ago. So, they took a tough loss this week as well. So, Indiana should still – they've got to get off to a good start in the Big Ten and get things going here at home.
Well, what was weird was not only were they not shooting from the field, they weren't shooting free throws worth of crap.
Yeah, that's the killer.
That's what surprised me. I'm like, man, usually because they could have saved themselves with just some timely free throw shooting, right. But they didn't. I mean, they were missing everything.
Yeah, I mean, they're 80%, almost 80% free throw shooting team for the year, and you just don't expect, it wasn't just one person that was having that night. I mean,
it was across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I swear, it was like somebody came out and they took a magic wand and said, you're a 50% shooter today.
Right.
You're a 50% shooter today. You're a 50% shooter today.
It is like, contagious. I don't know how it's contagious, but it is. And as shooters are when you see the ball going in the basket, even when it's other people, when everybody's making shots, for some reason, it's easier to make shots. When everybody's missing, For some reason, it's harder to make shots.
Basket just starts to shrink.
It seems like it. You start to think about it. I mean, that's really the difference is you start to think about it. As soon as you start to think about it, you're not thinking about the things that you should be thinking about, and that affects the percentages.
And the men's team, that's something the men's team struggled with the last couple of years. Not this season. They've been okay. They've been I don't know what the exact team mark is right now, but I know they've kind of been hovering around the 70% mark.
They started out a lot hotter than what they've been the last 4 or 5 games, though. I mean, we talked about early in the season, Trace Jackson-Davis shooting 14 for 15 in games, and they were a lot hotter to start the year. I think they probably are. I think they're right at 70% right now, or just below it.
What makes a good free throw shooter other than hitting them?
Just repetition and knowing that you're going to.
How much of it's mental?
A lot more than you would think, because everyone can practice. I mean, I watched. I hate to single him out, but I watched Chris Reynolds practice. I mean, he probably practiced free throws 3 times more than everyone else on the team, because it seemed like
they had to.
They would take turns having coaches work with them and do stuff. And I mean, it becomes part of it is technique. A huge part of it is technique and feel. I mean, some people are just born to do it. You can stick some 70-year-old men out there right now who were good free throw shooters at one point, and they're still good free throw shooters. And it's just that you just don't really lose that side of it. The confidence becomes a big deal. I mean,
well,
it really is.
Jake, chime in there. What?
Yeah, it's people who say that are not good free throw shooters, because it's nothing like riding.
They're not good bike riders.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. They've heard somebody else say that, so they go with it. And Jake just thought he'd throw that in there. It's not like riding. It's nothing like riding a bike.
Speaking of which, what happened in the last game, Jake? When's the last game been?
Oh yeah, did you guys do you have any holiday open gyms?
Do you have a Christmas tournament or anything? Nobody can hear Jake, so we're not talking to Jake. He just informed
You're out.
us.
Jake's out.
No one can hear
it's
him.
Okay.
So
he
you're
wasn't
done.
saying anything important anyway.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you all could not hear Jake, so my bad. Yeah. Oh well, yeah, but that's something that they've done
Thursday
a better
for
job.
the show, Jake, for the show Thursday, do that to Jim's mic. That'd be sweet.
And then every day afterwards, do that to Todd's. Yeah, like back in your day, every guy on your team was almost, except for Chris, but you guys were great shooters. Period. I mean, you had great shooters, and then that transferred to the free throw line. So many times today, we'll see a guy who's a pretty good 3-point shooter, but not always a great free throw shooter. Not all the time, but that's one of the weirdest anomalies when I see that guy who can shoot from outside but cannot shoot from a standard 15-foot shot at the free throw line.
You know what kills me is like you hear stuff all the time, whether it's football, basketball, golf, whatever the sport might be. You'll hear people say, it's a game of inches. Like, oh, it was so close to going like the smallest little hair of an angle of something made it go in or not go in, or the putt, or the pass get completed, or whatever it is. And then I see guys walk up to the free throw line. Look at this all the time. You'll see it. Watch the NBA tomorrow. It'll be the biggest joke you've ever seen. But watch how many guys don't get right up to the line. Their foot will be, somewhere between 2 inches and 7 inches behind the line.
And I never have understood that.
I don't either, because here's my point with that. You can never be
consistent,
almost exact every time. Like you can't be close enough to consistent, because like I said, sometimes it's a hair of a millimeter that is making the difference in whether a ball rims in and out or not. And you can't tell me. I mean, Bracy Wright, if you remember those days back then, Bracy Wright used to literally shoot like a 1.5 to 2 feet behind the line. And as a coaching staff, they were okay with that, and they let that happen. And at that point, I knew that coaching staff had absolutely no idea, no control over what was going on, and no idea what they were doing, because that does not make any sense. He might as well have just shot from half court.
I agree. Then you see guys that have a funky shot, and sometimes they try to fix them, and sometimes they just can't, I guess. He's talking about a funky shot. Chris Reynolds, didn't he have a weird shot?
Yeah,
he
shot from the opposite. Yeah, his hand, it was like a screwball. His hand would finish, with his thumb and index finger pointed down. And you're just like, how we should be able to fix that if you gave us enough time. If right now I can tell you give me anybody that has the strength to get the ball there, and I can make them a 75% free throw shooter.
That's one thing I don't understand is where does that start? Because if you watch basketball, which I'm not a great player at all, but I can go to the free throw line and hit free throws. Most people, if you're trying to shoot the ball correctly, your elbow in, hand underneath the ball, guide ball on there. But man, there's so many guys that put their own flavor on it.
Here's some factors to take into consideration with that. This is why I consider myself good at being able to teach anybody how to shoot, because I don't think everyone has to be identical, because you could take two people. I'm 6 feet 2 inches tall and I weigh 230 pounds. Okay. You could take two people that are 6 feet 2 inches, 230 pounds, and our shoulders are not going to be the same width. Our arms are not going to be the same size. They're not going to be the same length. We're not going to have the exact same form. And so many people try to make everybody shoot exactly the same. And that to me doesn't make any sense. I can take someone and I can have them put their arms in certain positions, and I can figure out what their comfortable natural position is. And that's where you go. That's where you start, and that's where you work from.
Well, then you get to take a guy like you or me, 6'1", 6'2", or whatever, as opposed to a 6'11" guy. Their angles are all different. There's a completely different angle now.
It is, but it's easier. It's totally easier. Like the fact that they think that's just a matter of they have bad touch. I mean, they just haven't practiced enough, and most of them have bad form. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Most 7-footers. Kevin Durant's 7 feet tall. He doesn't have bad form.
I'll tell you who doesn't have bad form. Santa Claus. Santa Claus doesn't have bad form, and he's coming tonight. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
So Good transition.
It is, man. Santa Claus, shooting some free throws. He's been practicing up at the pole. Somebody wanted a basketball goal for Christmas, and he's been using it.
Oh, man, weren't those days the best? Those were the best. When you got basketball stuff.
The funniest thing I ever did was when we'd have 3-on-3 tournaments on 8.5-foot goals.
Yeah.
Those were, oh my God, they were bloodbaths because there were no fouls.
I know. It was so much fun.
It was like a trade-off.
Snow on the ground. We could have
it didn't matter.
It didn't make a difference.
It did not matter. Those were great times. But
sneaking in the gyms, trying to find a gym open. Gosh, that was so much fun.
Cannot thank everybody enough for joining us here today. We appreciate you. We hope you have a great, Merry Christmas, a happy New Year. We'll talk about that when New Year rolls around, but a Merry Christmas. Hope you get to do whatever you want to do, spend it with whomever you want to spend it with. We cannot thank everybody enough. Our guests that we've had, we thank them this week as well, and we'll be back. We're on tomorrow, but it's going to be a repeat performance. So just so you know that going in, but we're back live Thursday. We're back at it here with you. We don't take vacations, man. We're at it. And then of course next week we'll be down in Jacksonville for the Gator Bowl.
Vacation. Next week we'll be on vacation.
Shush. We're working. We're working.
Yep.
This weekend, don't forget, the Indiana women play on Saturday. They've got a big game against Michigan State. Go out to Simon Scott Assembly Hall, support the ladies if you're around. And then on Sunday, of course, the men's team taking on Arkansas. And don't forget, after the game with Todd Leary, coming to you live from parts unknown. Yogi, we just were informed that Yogi's is having its Christmas party that day.
We're calling it audible. So
we're calling. We don't know yet, so we're going to fix that today and figure out where we're going to be. So we got to call an audible for that, but it will be somewhere. Regardless, whether we're sitting out on the sidewalk, brother, after the game is going to happen. So
hopefully we'll be sitting on a sidewalk in Jacksonville doing it from there. We can watch that game on TV.
Boy, that's the thought.
It's not a bad plan. I've been thinking about it all night. Trust me.
Well, just keep thinking hard because I'm with you. But looking forward to it. But thanks, everybody, and Merry Christmas to you. We appreciate you so much. Merry Christmas to Todd, to you, your family, to your kids, Jessica, everybody. We wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. Jake, the same to you, man.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, you guys have a good one. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Merry Christmas. I'll see you on the radio.